Good afternoon and welcome to this special edition of the Federal Executive Forum celebrating 17 years of profiling IT mission programs in the federal government. This is our 10th annual Profiles in Excellence program, which will be coming to you from the virtual studios of WTOP and the Federal News Network. I'm Luke McCormack, and during today's show, we will discuss IT program success stories at numerous government agencies and hear from key leaders making them happen. With me on today's show are Ann Duncan, Chief Information Officer, U.S. Department of Energy; Gary Washington, Chief Information Officer, U.S. Department of Agriculture; Sylvia Burns, Chief Information Officer, Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation; Melinda Rogers, Chief Information Officer, U.S. Department of Justice; Jonathan Album, Federal Chief Technology Officer, ServiceNow; and Nick Saki, Principal Technologist, Office of the CTO, North American Public Sector Pure Storage. Well, I think if we had Claire walk in here, we'd have an executive council today. And it certainly is an honor to have all of you here with us today. Reflecting back, I think we all recognize that there's certain things that you have to do, right? There's certain things that lots of folks are telling you to do. And there's a whole handful of things that you need to do. And that's, we're going to talk about sort of all of those, perhaps more towards the latter. And we're going to start with you. You and I shared some time last year at a conference out in the West Coast. A lot of excitement there, a lot of enthusiasm, a lot of energy, no pun intended. Tell us about the state of the state, sort of looking back at this year, and what have you been up to there?
Thank you for hosting me today. It's
great to see you.
It's great to be here with all of my colleagues, and I agree. We could just about have a CIO council meeting, and thankfully, unlike yesterday's meeting, I'm not sitting in an airport trying to hear everybody. So it's a win. Also, and thank you for coming to our DOE Cybersecurity and Innovation Conference last year, and we would very much like to host you again this year. So with that said,
you're on.
All right, super. So just a few of the things that we've accomplished, in addition to bringing that conference back after a 3-year hiatus. So service delivery has been a real focus for us in the last year. We really want the Office of CIO to become DOE's service provider of choice. The DOE, I wasn't there during the pandemic for most of the early parts of the pandemic. Obviously, the pandemic's not really over, but I wasn't there for the early part. But during that time, the office did a great job of keeping things running, just like everybody else will tell you they did. But since then, we're up in our game, and we're bringing parts of DOE that were previously not supported by our office in by their choice. They are contacting us now and saying, we'd like to bring some services back into your office. So to me, that's how I know that we're doing a good job. We're not perfect, but we're making progress because people want to come into the fold. Second area I'll mention for the last year is cybersecurity. Cybersecurity is not the most important thing we do, but if we don't do it well, we can't do anything else. So that's, it is what enhances our ability to deliver the mission by keeping DOE safe and secure. And we've been putting a lot of energy into that and to implementing the executive order on cybersecurity and dealing with DOE's very unique challenges in that space with the large amount of OT and research devices that we have. The third area I wanted to mention is innovation. We have earlier this year, and we announced it in fact in Portland at the conference. We delivered our scaling innovation playbook, which is available to anyone who wants to look at it out at our CIO site, energy.gov/CIO, to help people scale innovation. But then we came back to that, and we're using that ourselves. So it's our roadmap to deliver innovation to the organization. One of the big focus areas for that for us is building a low-code, no-code factory, and really enhancing our ability to deliver applications to the organization quickly with a rapid HEO process and in multi-cloud environment. So we have really seen over the last year our ability to deliver. We really struggled with the vaccine attestation program last year, being able to deliver that in a quick way. And we have very quickly learned and grown from that time where we're delivering applications across the organization. So when the team needed something spun up to support Ukraine, we were able to do that. When other parts of the organization needed applications quickly to support hiring for the bill staffing that we were getting, we were able to quickly deliver those applications. So we're making progress there. And then the last area I'll mention is collaboration across DOE. I spent my first year making sure the labs understood that I did not have some hidden agenda, was there to help and support them. And since then, we've really been able to work together with our peers across DOE, the interagency, and internationally to really develop some new capabilities. We focus very much on helping DOE know what DOE knows. So we published DOE's first advanced wireless strategy, which came out of our catalog of DOE's advanced wireless capabilities, where then we can identify gaps and overlaps and update those. And we're doing the same in the space of cyber research across DOE. What are we doing at DOE? What do we know? Who's doing that? And how can we make sure that DOE and our partners know what our capabilities are? So those are the 4 areas I think we're really excited about what we've accomplished in the last
year. A lot of good stuff. And when those labs are not running and hiding and reaching out to you, you know you're on a path to goodness there. So, and I encourage everyone to take a look at that publication. We'll make sure to publish a link on our website as well. Gary, I'm going to go over to you at Agriculture. I know there's a lot of activity going on over there. I always like to point out, and I would ask you, the depth and breadth of the size of Department of Agriculture is absolutely massive, including globally. And I think people just don't appreciate that. So Gary, please.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for having us. I'm excited to be here with my peers. Yeah, the Department of Agriculture, as you know, has over 100,000 employees, and we service all Americans every day. And we also have an international presence as well. I think we're in like 94 different countries across the globe. So, you know, we spend a lot of time, as my peers do on a daily basis, trying to ensure that we can provide top-notch services to all of these employees, like foresters, ranchers, farmers, scientists, statisticians, and others that perform their duties on a daily basis. You know, we've been really focused on, you know, continuing to support our employees in this remote, this COVID environment where everybody's working remotely. So as you can imagine, especially in rural America, it's extremely difficult to, you know, provide these services, and we've been doing a pretty good job of that. We've been really focusing on continuing to strengthen our cybersecurity posture across USDA, as well as supporting the customer experience executive order, because we have like 5 high impact service providers that support that EO. I think we have more than any other department. And so we're working with several of our mission areas to make sure that we digitized our services to our customers from end to end, you know, really focusing on how do we improve service delivery to our customers, and how do we improve the customer experience to everybody. So there's really a great focus around that. We've published a 5-year IT strategic plan that's been endorsed by a secretary. You know, and there's a focus on digitalization, cybersecurity. You know, like everybody else, we're going to have workforce challenges. About half of our current IT workforce is able to retire. So we're starting to, you know, be very aggressive about engaging, you know, at universities and minority service institutions, and letting, you know, college students know that there's opportunities at USDA. With, you know, looking at futuristic skill sets like, you know, artificial intelligence, machine learning, you know, people who want to get involved in the Internet of Things, those kinds of things. And, you know, as you know, we've been really aggressive in data analytics. We have a maturing data program. You know, that continues to be the case. Our secretary wants us to have a well-informed, have a data environment where we make informed decisions based on factual data. So we're very aggressive with that as well. You know, so, you know, you know, our network modernization with EIS is very important to us. You know, we're taking a very transformative approach by consolidating 17 networks down to 1 across USDA. and having a managed service approach to managing our network across USDA. So we've started to make strides in making that happen as well. So, as you stated, we have a lot going on. We have a very large presence across America, and there's no shortage of work here at USDA in terms of, what we're doing. So it's very exciting times here.
No doubt. And that's sort of that's such a massive audience, external audience that has to interface with you. Just feel great that you all are doing some of that customer experience and interaction there and taking advantage of these new technologies. Sylvia, not quite as large at Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation, but I call it small but mighty, right? Maybe 30 seconds on just to make sure everyone in the audience knows what that is, what you all do. And then, of course, what you've been doing over the last year.
Sure. Thanks for asking, Luke. And I agree with you. FDIC is small but mighty and very important. So if you guys, just for those of you who don't know what the FDIC is, if you go and just like walk around town and go to a bank, right? Any bank, your bank, you will probably see a little logo on the window of the bank. And they may even have a plaque that says that they're FDIC insured. So the FDIC is an organization that is devoted to lending to the financial stability of, our financial system and the banking system. And so we do a series of things. We insure banks, right, up to $250,000 an account. And if for any reason the bank fails that's insured, depositors can basically claim up to the $250,000. And so if you guys remember it's the holidays, right? So you're going to be watching It's a Wonderful Life with Jimmy Stewart. And there's always that scene, right, where, there's the savings and loan and the bank examiner comes and, they're trying to like close the books and show that the bank examiner, like that they're okay. Well, so that bank examiner is exactly like what FDIC does. We have bank examiners that we insure the funds. So there's no run on the bank like there was in It's a Wonderful Life. People don't have to like put all their money in their mattress, right? It can be in the bank and it'll be safe. So we insure first of all, and then we go around and we have bank examiners along with bank examiners in the States. And we go and we just check periodically to make sure that everything's working fine. We check on kind of what we call safety and soundness, which is just kind of how the bank is managed and looking at their books and stuff like that, and their loan portfolios, all that. And then we also have a compliance part of examinations that's looking at laws to ensure the bank is following the laws that they're supposed to follow to protect consumers and, and just ensure that there is a level playing field. So we are very heavily involved in the Community Reinvestment Act, like ensuring compliance with that, along with other laws. So there's basically safety and soundness examinations as well as compliance examinations. And then if for any reason a bank fails, we are very lucky that we haven't had a ton of those in recent years. But if it does happen, the FDIC is the entity in the federal government who will go in and work to what we call resolve and receive the bank. So we'll go in and basically see if there's another bank or another financial institution that's interested in buying the assets of the bank and taking over the business. And the last resort is that if that doesn't happen, the FDIC will take over the bank. And ensure that, all claims and, the deposits are treated in accordance with our laws and policy. And it's a great agency. It really is. So it shines in times of crisis. And we don't like to have crises very often, but they happen. And so we're that stopgap. So it is an important agency. I am super proud of the work we've done over the last year and more. One of the things that I'll tout is that For the second year in a row, our team has actually achieved a FSMA maturity level of 4, which means that we're measured and managed. And that was a big accomplishment for us. So last year and this year, our IG rated us 4 out of 5. And, in 2017, I believe we were rated at a level 2. So that
Wow.
didn't happen by magic,
Right,
it happened through the hard work, right?
That's what I was going to point out, a lot of hard work. And I would imagine that everyone on the listening to this is very thankful that you're really hardening that environment and making sure that you stand at the ready in the event that one of these banks gets into a troubled situation. I'm going to go to Melinda at Department of Justice. A lot of moving parts over there. There's no question that most people know what Justice does, but we certainly don't have an update on what you all have been doing over the course of the last year. Really looking forward to hearing this, Melinda.
Absolutely. Hi, Luke. Nice to see you again. It's been a busy year. It's been, for me at least personally, a busy decade. It's been nothing but a great challenge along the way. In terms of the last 12 months or so, I would say it started off with the ask of all the federal agencies to measure the COVID vaccination attestation status across all agencies. And we had to deploy that very quickly along with everybody else. And this was something that as I look back the year, it might seem like a long time ago, but this is one of the moments that I feel very proud to be a part of this organization and the people that I work with. We looked around and identified some of the existing applications that had the broadest reach we could potentially repackage to then serve the purpose of capturing vaccination information across our 120,000 employees, also across all states as well as globally. We were able to get that stood up within 30 days. It was hard work. It was a lot of sleepless nights, but also for me, one of the big takeaways was the fact that we really emphasized the user experience in that exercise, because that was the point where everybody was still remote, yet executive leadership as well as the White House needed that data on vaccination status to determine what the ultimate return to work posture and timing should look like. So that was information that we needed to gather to help ultimately our leadership to decide to make important decisions on work status. So we did that with the intention of making this a very quick hit for our users, being able to come in very clearly, know what they need to enter in terms of name, vaccination status, uploading their card for proof of vaccination, and essentially make sure that the experience was smooth, crisp, and in and out. Because if we didn't make it crisp and easy, people won't do it, or they'll fail, or I'm going to get a lot of complaints at the service desk on why didn't this application work. So ease of use, scalability. I mentioned earlier we have 120,000 or so employees, so we've got to be able to handle the load, knowing that the surge is going to come. And that's one of the things we also did was within a very quick time frame, also staged the rollout of this attestation database to make sure that we don't end up causing ourselves a denial of service. So that was a lot of planning, a lot of moving parts, but definitely in looking back, something that I'm very proud of to be a part of this organization and the people that supported the OCIO in rolling this out to the entire workforce. That's certainly one area. The two other areas I would like to mention is in terms of our email and virtual conferencing, collaboration, service consolidation. Luke, I think you may remember, near and dear to your heart, this is what you started when you were here years ago. That was phase 1, and then we took on the journey of phase 2 to ultimately move everything into the cloud. And this is an area where it's taken many years. It's truly a journey, but it's truly one of those major transformation efforts that does take time. It does take interaction with our component customers. I think Ann mentioned collaboration. That's key, building that trust and ultimately facilitating that migration over time to make sure that there's a great customer experience, that we leverage the technology, the new capabilities that's out there, and more importantly, streamline and standardize IT in the back end so that we actually have a cleaner infrastructure to maximize support and also to be able to tighten our cybersecurity posture. So within the past year, we successfully migrated BOP, Bureau of Prison, as well as DEA for a combined total of about 50,000 users into our enterprise repository. So now we're at about 110, all under one umbrella, the unification of the family, if you will. But that's an area where it took, again, time, effort, dedication, and collaboration, cooperation among all the individuals involved to actually make that happen. And then I would be remiss if I don't mention an accomplishment on the cybersecurity front. We have deployed or upgraded our endpoint detection and response solution, EDR, across our universe of end users. We actually rolled it out to 140,000 endpoints. We have actually about over 200 that we need to hit. That's our goalpost. So we were able to deploy a large percentage of that particular capability out very quickly within a matter of 12 months. And we expect that to finish in FY20, in fiscal year 23. So those are some of the highlights that I can think of. It's been a busy year, but I couldn't do this certainly by myself. I'm just very proud to be a member of the organization and the individuals that are very committed to support the IT mission for the Department of Justice.
A very promising report. We're going to take a short break and we'll be right back. You're listening to the Federal Executive Forum on Federal News Network.